Please be seated. Pro-Chancellor, graduates, guests and members of the university community, good evening and welcome. I'm Bill Patterson, University Secretary and Director of Governance. Graduations are one of the university's most important events, and we are delighted to be resuming ceremonies in 2022. On occasion, the university seeks to honour individuals who've made extraordinary impacts upon the society through the contributions they have made. Today, the university will bestow an honorary award upon one such individual. I would now like to introduce to you the official party who are here on stage. Seated at the centre of the stage is Mr. Peter Bennett, Pro-Chancellor of the University, who will preside over this ceremony. The Pro-Chancellor is joined today by Professor Leslie Hitchens, Acting Provost and Senior Vice President, Ms. Elaine Henry, OAM, our Honorary Award recipient, who will also deliver the occasional address, Professor Bronwyn Dalton, Head of the Management Discipline Group in the UTS Business School, who will be presenting graduates. The other people seated on stage are Professor Glenn Whitewick, Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Vice President Enterprise, professors, academics and professional staff from faculties and institutes who played such a large part in the success of today's graduates. It now gives me great pleasure to invite Mr. Peter Bennett, Pro-Chancellor, to formally open proceedings.
In the name of the Council, I declare this congregation of the University of Technology, Sydney, duly assembled. On behalf of the University of Technology, Sydney, before we begin the proceedings, and on behalf of all present, I would like to acknowledge and pay respect to the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. It is upon their ancestral lands that UTS stands. Similarly, I would like to pay respect to elders both past and present, acknowledging them as the traditional custodians of knowledge for this place. In this graduation ceremony, we will celebrate conferral of awards upon the graduates from the UTS Business School. Today's ceremony marks a great achievement for graduates and recognises the support which they have received from family and friends, many of whom are here today. We warmly welcome you, and together we celebrate the achievements of the graduates. I now ask Professor Leslie Hitchens, Acting Provost and Senior Vice President, to present a candidate for the admission of a Fellow of the University.
Pro-Chancellor, the Council of the University established the honour, the Fellow of the University, to be made in recognition of an outstanding contribution to the University's objectives. Pro-Chancellor, I present to you Ms. Elaine Henry, OAM. Ms. Elaine Henry, OAM, has been a distinguished leader in the non-profit sector for the last 25 years. She was the Executive Director of the Cancer Council, New South Wales, the Chief Executive Officer of the Smith Family, and is currently a Director of the Etc. Foundation. Under Ms. Henry's leadership, the Cancer Council, New South Wales, grew from a small statutory authority into a world-acclaimed Cancer Council agency. Ms. Henry also led a major transformation of the Smith family by using the power of education to disrupt the intergenerational cycle of poverty. Ms. Henry has also sought to influence public policy development. She has been a passionate advocate of building a healthier, more caring, equitable, and cohesive Australian community founded on education. She is highly regarded in the research, social justice, and philanthropy sectors, and regularly lends her expertise to government committees and reports. Since stepping down from her role at the Smith family, Ms. Henry has concentrated on her non-executive directorships, including Chair of the National Breast Cancer Foundation, Chair of the Australian Research Alliance for Children and Youth, Board Member of the Australian Government's Financial Literacy Board, the Early Start Advisory Board at the University of Wollongong, and the Advisory Council at the Centre for Social Impact at the University of New South Wales. At the NBCF, the National Breast Cancer Foundation, she played a major role in developing the model for Australia's breast screening program. She oversaw the establishment of the National Breast Cancer Centre and Breast Screen New South Wales, and convened the National Steering Committee for Australia's inaugural Breast Cancer Day. The NBCF created a fellowship award in her honour that is awarded annually on International Women's Day. Ms. Henry has served on many committees and boards at the state, national and international level, including chairing the Australian Government's Stronger Families and Communities Initiative, being a member of the Prime Minister's Community Business Partnership, and a member of the Australian Statistics Advisory Council. She is a current member of Chief Executive Women, the Australian Institute of Company Directors, and Social Ventures Australia. She continues to present on leadership and social innovation and comments on contemporary issues in the media, as she has done for more than 30 years. Ms. Henry was awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia in 1994. As well as her significant achievements in the community and non-profit sectors, Ms. Henry has provided substantial strategic input as a member of the UTS Vice-Chancellor's Industry Advisory Board. It is a great honour for the University of Technology, Sydney, to confer Ms. Elaine Henry, OAM, with the award of Fellow of the University in recognition of her significant service to the non-profit sector and community health, particularly her crucial contributions to breast cancer screening and research. Pro-Chancellor, in recognition of her outstanding contribution to the University, I ask you to admit Elaine Henry as a Fellow of the University.
By the authority vested in me by the Council of the University of Technology, Sydney, I admit Elaine Henry as a Fellow of the University. I now invite Professor Bronwyn Dalton, Head of the Department of Management for the UTS Business School, to present graduates.
Pro-Vice Chancellor, I invite graduates to stand. Pro-Vice Chancellor, the UTS Council has resolved that candidates recommended to it by the Faculty Board in Business as eligible for awards have completed all requirements of a course of study approved by them, the Board, and has conferred these awards upon them. Pro-Vice Chancellor, I now present those graduates who are here before you to acknowledge the awards for which they have qualified.
On behalf of the Council of the University of Technology, Sydney, I congratulate graduates on their achievements in obtaining the awards for which they have qualified.
Graduates, please be seated. Pro-Vice-Chancellor, UTS Business School conducts innovative research across all major business disciplines. Our aim is to produce research which is not only academically excellent, but also knowledge that impacts the world in which we live. Pro-Vice-Chancellor, I present to you graduates receiving research degrees. The following students have graduated with the Doctor of Philosophy. Kate Olivia Burt, for a thesis entitled The Constructed Authentic Self at Work and Other Acts of Fiction, supported by a supervisory panel that included Principal Supervisor Professor Carl Rhodes and co-supervisors Associate Professor Natalia Nikolova and Professor Peter Fleming. Pro-Vice-Chancellor, I present to you Dr. Kate Olivia Burt. Danny Ma, for a thesis entitled Interpersonal Horizontal Knowledge Sharing in Multinational Enterprises, a Social Identity Perspective, supported by a supervisory panel that included Principal Supervisor Dr. Simone Faulkner and co-supervisors Dr. Moira Skerry and Dr. Anthony Fee. Pro-Vice-Chancellor, I present to you Dr. Danny Ma. Christopher Robert Maxwell, for a thesis entitled It's Just Not That Simple, a complex adaptive systems approach to understanding changing dynamics in leadership teams, supported by a supervisory panel that included Principal Supervisor Melissa Edwards and co-supervisors Associate Professor Natalia Nikolova and Professor Sivarama Sankaran. Pro-Vice-Chancellor, I present to you Dr. Christopher Robert Maxwell. Pro-Vice-Chancellor, we will now present to you our coursework graduates receiving awards today.
The following students have graduated with the Master of Event Management: Amy Elizabeth Cripps, Lin Gyang Do, Catherine Phillipson, Ren Hao Zhang, Master of Human Resource Management Christina Anthony, Ariel Jessica Antonino, Olivia Jane Gazzard, Leslie Rose Grieg, Qing Yuan Guan, Cherie Ann Jones. Master of Management, Akshata Belave Narasimha. Laika Raquel Gilbert. Kong Pie Son Hein. Alvin Pradipta Husni. Nikita Naran Mavji Kerai. Meng Ke Lee. Lois Bianca Agda Limboan. Hao Yu Liu. Prajvala Sudamshu. Uten Wangwatana Ari. Junqi Zhao. Master of Not-for-Profit and Social Enterprise Management, Joshua Aaron Favers. Elizabeth Scully. Master of Sport Management, Isabella Jeffrey. Mingfei Jiang. Eloise Princey. Adam Joseph Saar. Ridhima Sharma. Master of Strategic Supply Chain Management, Shujok Arya. Gautam Govindraj. Majid Mahmoodi. Ha Khan Nguyen. Refabia Ara Ria Suhatsha. Bachelor of Business with Credit, Bachelor of Languages and Cultures, Kyra Early. Bachelor of Management with Distinction, Diploma in Innovation, Caitlin Jones. Bachelor of Management with Distinction, Diploma in Languages, Bonnie Pak Kwan O. Bachelor of Business with Distinction, Elisa Page Clark. William Jordan Giacometti. Shin Yi Gu. Yue Huang. Tian Drew Lundy. Sarasvati Alika Wijaya. Trong Ling Zhou. Bachelor of Business with Credit, Ye Bai. Xin Cheng Cai. Ting Jian Chen. Kumar Chantial. Christopher Christian. James Nicholas Donato. Nathan D'Souza. Ella Ferguson. Regina Galling. Lindsay Cosidlo. Ke Shin Lee. Saul Campbell McCready. Victoria Lara O'Rourke. Sharon Tanu Wijaya. Nelson Chan. T. Hong Han Chan. Ilaria Trecapelli. Yuk Lam Wong. Samuel Worthington. Ya Fan Shao. Pei Ting Ching. Xiao Jun Zhong. Bachelor of Business, Tarunbir Brar. Wen Hao Deng. Patrick Familietti. Alicia Jane Azevedo Jordan. Christopher George Condis. Kenneth Lim. James Cooper Murray. Chuong Quinn Lam Nguyen. Tan Tung Pham. Simon Sleiman. Hao Ji Song. Ricky Tang. Bachelor of Management with Distinction, Electra Athanasatos. Asher Francis Brimage. Bronte Lee Patricia Brooke. James Matthew Handsaker. Harriet Louise Hunniset. Dennis Likuras. Elizabeth May. Tho Thi Ngo. Diana Opatit. Eloise Chelsea Pearson Hatchwell. Jordan Kate Piper. Caitlin Grace Rogers. Alexandra Laura Stalgis-Belinsky. Bachelor of Management with Credit, Christian Dominic Calabria. Luca Aldo Calabria. Nina Tanvi Kao. Jasmine Kroika. Kiara Lisa Gann. Rachel Ganika. Simon Stanislav Glevitz. Jessica Huynh. Shruti Joseph. Madeline Kennan. Natasha Carmen Lee. Tatiana Martinovitz. Kudzaisha Justin Mazando. Neil Morris. Kim Van Nguyen. Liam George Nikos. Alia Salmeri. Joe Bennett Setiawan. Zoe Ann Swan Duffy. Eleanor Grace Tomlinson. Sarah Wood. Harrison Le Heng Chang. Tiana Louise Zumo. Bachelor of Management, Nat Min Dang. Nicola Doritz. Samantha Lauren Gonzalez. Alexander Pierre Niertling. Shannon Brooke Nudka. Yi Hong Wang. Bachelor of Management in Events and Leisure, Rebecca Tu Tui Chan.
Pro-Vice Chancellor, this concludes the presentation of graduates.
On behalf of the University of Technology, Sydney, let me congratulate all of our UTS graduates on their achievements in obtaining their awards. Graduation is such a significant occasion for our graduates. You have graduated from a university that is less than 50 years old. However, you have been part of a ceremony that has over 800 years of tradition, stretching back to the establishment of the first universities in Europe in the 12th century. Then Latin was the language of scholarship. The gowns were worn to symbolise the wearers were scholars, and the head covering kept them warm in the cold schools of the Middle Ages. Completing a degree or diploma is a major achievement in anyone's life, and we should never underestimate the sacrifices and the very hard work that have gone towards today's graduation. We have celebrated with each graduate as they have come across the stage, but let's celebrate them again one more time all together. Congratulations, graduates. No one achieves very much in life when they work alone. As a society, we are made stronger by our family, friends, and support networks that guide and challenge us to achieve great things. So for everyone who stood by a UTS graduate, helped them through a tough time, or shared their counsel on behalf of all of us at the university, thank you for the support you have given. Especially because the last few years have been a challenge for us, and in particular, continuing our education. Our resilience has been tested, and the support of family and friends has been more important than ever. Graduation is a very important occasion for family and friends. And I would ask our graduates to stand and acknowledge the support from all of the people who have come to join us today. So if you'd stand, and there's a lot of your friends and family have really helped you out. So congratulations to them. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. I am sure that as graduates, you will remember today as a turning point in your life. You have graduated from a world-leading university of technology. When you have been with us for the last several years, you've learned a lot of knowledge. You've learned new skills. You've learned how to communicate your ideas and to work with others in teams. Your graduation here at UTS marks the start of your journey as a global citizen, and you will be held in high esteem because of the high quality of education you have received with us here at UTS. Your graduation will bring you both opportunities and challenges. There will be exciting opportunities as you start or continue your careers. You will face exciting prospects at home and across the globe, and use technology that frankly was science fiction when I graduated. Probably there will be opportunities to influence lives and the quality of those lives across the globe. Yet the challenges you face after graduation have never been greater. The last couple of years demonstrate how quickly plans and expectations change. Increasingly, you will face scrutiny from a society less trusting of institutions and elites. I would like to leave you with two guiding principles. First, I ask you all as a UTS graduate to use your knowledge, your skills, and your talents in the very best interests of humanity, and particularly the best interests of future generations, because the future, I believe, depends on all of us using our knowledge and skills for the benefit of the community. It is knowledge and it is skills and it is your contribution which will ensure a better society and a better living standard for all peoples of the world. As a UTS graduate, I'm asking you to ensure that you leave the world a better place because of your efforts and what you contribute. The second thing I would ask you to remember always in your career is to maintain the highest professional and personal integrity. In your life and in your career, I am sure you will face many ethical dilemmas, challenges to your integrity, both your personal integrity and your professional integrity. I ask you all as UTS graduates to remember to maintain your professional pride, because professional pride is essential if the integrity and the worth of your education with us at UTS is to be sustained. Be true to yourself and all people you engage with. Make yourselves, your families, and your university proud of you by maintaining the highest professional and ethical standards. Finally, remember, education is a lifelong journey, not a destination. Your degree has given you a wonderful foundation to face any challenge, but you must stay curious. Stay connected with this world-class institution by joining over 260,000 UTS alumni around the world. Keep in contact with this group because they too will keep you connected with your lifelong learning journey. Your alumni office will be your connection to UTS. Finally, I'd like you to remember the great philosopher of your childhood, Dr. Seuss. who said, "The more things you learn, the more places you'll go. But make sure the places you go remember you for what you did to make it a better place than when you arrived." So one last time, let me say the best wishes and the pride of the university go with each and every UTS graduate. Congratulations again. I would now invite Miss Elaine Henry, OAM, Fellow of the University, to deliver our occasional address.
Presiding Chancellor, Presiding Vice-Chancellor, members of Council, staff, distinguished guests, graduates, your families and your friends. I acknowledge the custodians of the land on which we are meeting, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. There are decades when nothing happens, and there are decades when everything happens. There are weeks that become decades. Now, these words were said in 1918 by Lenin, and I wonder what he would think of the last 3 years we have been living through. Now, it's been estimated by the Stanford Professor of Economics, Neil Bloom, that about 30 years of change happened in the 2 years 2020-21. So it's really quite understandable we're all feeling a bit overwhelmed. During that time, you've no doubt learnt a lot about yourself and the world. I think there were so many surprises that in the future we need to expect the unexpected. Some events have been life-changing, some perhaps less so. Some have been pleasant and others quite unpleasant, but they've all now been woven into your life's tapestry. This is a theme I want to come back to over the next little while. But on the 24th of November 2021, I was contacted by the Chancellor of this great university, totally unexpectedly, and informed that to mark my contributions to our society, the university would like to bestow on me the honour of Fellow of the University, and would I be able to accept? I was stunned. I was humbled. And the opportunity of considering it was great. I'm proud to accept such an honour, and I thank each and every one of you at the UTS. Thank you. Of course, the Chancellor's communication made me pause and think about my career and what I'd done. And this was a bit like a few years before when a very young former colleague came up to me in the street, and apropos of nothing, he said, "You've had a great innings in public health and in social enterprise." Well, yes, that's right. At first, I had to think, goodness, what have I done? But I know it was full of purpose, people, and principles. And it just so happens that it was driven by striving for excellence and social justice, something I have in common with this great university. Overwhelmingly, I have been fortunate to be able to follow my passion rather than my pension, and that's really Henry Ford's words, not mine. But I'd urge you to consider the same thing and maintain your well-being. If I may, I'd like to share with you one or two things I've learned over my career, and as I do, I would encourage you, graduates, to reflect on the sacrifices and achievements which have brought you here to this point, and in so doing, I suggest you savour this joyful occasion. You may recall it was the management guru, Charles Handy, who said, life can only be understood backwards, but you have to live it forwards. A concept expressed more eloquently perhaps by T.S. Eliot, who said, we shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive at the beginning and know the place for the first time. To begin the beginning, my outlook on life was greatly shaped by the opportunity to travel, to go to university overseas, and to study in a transdisciplinary way. My studies of science intersected with economic management, well before it became de rigueur. When I became a lecturer, I was happy to share my views with my students, advising them before embarking on a career path to go and see the world, to immerse themselves in a strange new environment, as they were likely to be at an age when they would be more receptive. For such experiences lead to fresh ideas, ways of thinking, hopefully culminating in reforms that push society, not just individuals, forward. From a superficial glance at my work history, you may not decipher a pattern, but there is a convergence of concepts around my endeavours. They involve priorities for society at a particular point in time, preventive strategies aimed at interrupting the root causes of negative pathways which affect the population's health and well-being, best summed up by the old axiom, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Expanding our knowledge base through scientific endeavours and translating that new knowledge into practice and policy in an iterative way, clearly defining the required outcomes with the intent of bringing about societal change, and an element of controversy in their genesis, which is understandable given that we were challenging the status quo as well as leading to empowerment of our citizens, which displaces the prevailing power bases, so not for the faint-hearted. After all, we were involved in such issues as elucidating for the public some 40 years ago the real harm they were doing to themselves by continuing to smoke and how they might help themselves to adopt a more healthy lifestyle. The early debate on the safety or otherwise of nuclear energy. Abandoning the euphemisms in the 1980s, which had previously confused patients and their families when faced with a cancer diagnosis, and telling it like it is for the 700,000 plus kids growing up in jobless families, despite our burgeoning economy at the end of the century. One of the first people I worked for was a pioneer in the field of public health and epidemiology in London, but it took others 3 or 4 decades to catch up to his understanding of the world. Being young and impressionable, I soaked up his every word and action, but witnessing the struggle you had to endure if you were prepared to go against the tide. When I returned to Australia, I was given a great opportunity, but I had to be prepared to confront the challenges. Early on, in fact, in the first few months of my taking up the position of Executive Director at the Cancer Council, I learnt that leaders had to be on the front foot and tell it as it is. However unpalatable, we ended up on the front page of the newspapers for a whole week, through no fault of our own. We were devastated to find ourselves in these newspapers. But then communication became my key bedrock of leadership. From that moment on, I was guided by the writings of James Arthur Baldwin. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. I would also add that if you consider life is worth living, you have to have the courage of your conviction, preferably based on strong evidence and reason. And I remind you of the words of Rosabeth Moss-Kanter from Harvard, who wrote, "It's not which road we take that defines us, but how we handle the bumps along the way. You have already had your share of bumps and challenges that had to be faced, but that you are here this evening is a testament to your resilience, and I might add that of your families, developed during your tertiary studies. It should give you hope for the future. And remember, hope is the torch that carries us through life's challenges. No doubt we have our own stories to tell about coming through the trying time of COVID pandemic. I arrived in Europe in March 2020, just in time for lockdown, and spent 2 years shut out of Australia because our borders were closed. Were these going to be lost years? No, given my understanding of the world and my keen interest in different communities with different terms of public health and economic dilemmas. I spent the whole time looking at what was happening at the micro level or individual level, the meso level, which is the national level, and also at the global level. And it's fascinating. But I wonder whether we've got people who are our so-called world leaders that now will do the analysis, the synthesis, understanding the different circumstances and the outcomes of those in their own country, so that we'll be better prepared for the next pandemic. And it is coming. At least Australian philanthropists have such courage and published their review findings just last week. But who's listening? They say it's an ill wind that blows nobody any good, and from my perspective, one of the positive things to come out of the experiences was the shining of the light on the important role of science and scientists in our society, but especially those scientists who are involved in policy making. However, you've heard from the presiding Chancellor, the pandemic also cast a dark shadow over education. I felt for all the students whose young lives were being so disrupted. Not all were as fortunate as UTS students, as you obviously were able to successfully adapt to different and challenging life experiences. I'm sure it was sheeted home to you during the period that being given the time and the space to study and learn is an absolute joy. Do remember your time here and continue to treat each day as an adventure. Set yourself the goal of learning something new about yourselves and about the world. And how amazing was the speed by which the scientists were able to develop and prepare vaccines, especially using revolutionary messenger RNA, which literally saved thousands of lives. On display was the sharing of scientific knowledge, but of course it shouldn't be forgotten that it took a whole community of disparate actors to bring the desired outcomes, including venture capitalists, industry, and government representatives. As we've moved through the decades and the more we have studied the major problems of our time, the more we have realised that they cannot be understood in isolation. They're systemic problems, meaning they are interconnected and interdependent. That's why the concept of consilience, the linking together of principles from different disciplines, has come into sharp relief. For nothing exists entirely alone. Everything is in relation to everything else. As an example, the tremendous progress that we've seen in the last 20 years in cancer control was underpinned by great progress in technology, not just advances in molecular biology. Before long, we had a cascade of giant steps arising from the mapping of the human genome at the turn of the century. It was subsequently discovered that our behaviours and the environment in which the genes are located control the switching on and switching off of parts of our DNA. A whole new field of epigenetics was opened up. This greater understanding of how cancer develops and progresses has led to immunologists such as that fantastic husband and wife team behind the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine to suggest that an injection which mobilises the immune system to identify, attack, and kill cancer cells is on the horizon. Yeah. In my other interest area of human development, we no longer have the dichotomous argument of whether it's nature or nurture that has the greater effect. It's both. This is why we can rejoice that when we stuck to our guns, when we insisted on an ecological model as the basis for our Learning for Life program at the Smith family, millions of young people have developed the right capabilities to allow them to lead lives that they will find meaningful, productive, and rewarding. And of course, collectively, the community is benefiting. Importantly, the cycle of poverty broken. Graduates, congratulations on reaching this important milestone in your life's journey, but remember it's only the beginning of what can be a very exciting future. And I would implore each and every one of you to go forth and contribute to the building of a vibrant, smart, sustainable, equitable society. And if you're in doubt about the contribution you may make, remember the words of Margaret Mead, the great anthropologist, who said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." So good luck, and luck does come into it, and thank you for listening.
I would like to thank our speaker, Elaine Henry, OAM, for the occasional address on this important day for you as UTS graduates. We are fortunate at UTS graduations to benefit from the wisdom and experience of our speakers. And you will have heard when I read the citation today of the amazing experience and achievements of our speaker. Of course, for you, sitting here today, just graduating, you probably can't imagine what your future would be like, or that you would even achieve as much as Ms. Henry. But she probably thought the same thing on the day that she was graduating. You have the skills and you have the experience, and you've learnt a lot in the past 2 years, not as we've known an expected experience, but one which we've all had. So like our speaker, I encourage you now to take up the challenge of those opportunities that will lie before you. Be open to them, and as our speaker reminded us, be prepared to speak the truth in those situations, to stand up for what is right. And don't forget that as business graduates, you will be involved in solving problems, meeting challenges, finding solutions that will bring together many disciplines, that multidisciplinary, transdisciplinary experience, as you heard from our speaker. That is how, by coming together, we can really bring great solutions. Please thank our speaker. Graduation ceremonies are always special occasions, even for those of us here on the stage who may participate in many. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge another reason why tonight's ceremony is special. Presiding tonight was our Pro-Chancellor, Peter Bennett. He has presided over many such ceremonies, but this ceremony marks the last time he will undertake this important role. Peter has been a member of our University Council since 2010. University Council is the governing body of the university, overseeing our strategies, our operations, and management. Members of our council serve voluntarily. It is an onerous role, both in time and responsibility. Peter, having served the maximum number of years allowed, will now retire. He has been a tireless member of council and its committees, giving us the benefit of his experience and expertise, as well as encouraging and supporting us. Pro-Chancellor, thank you for your service.
Pro-Chancellor, guests and graduates, that occasional address concludes the formal proceedings of this ceremony. The academic procession is about to leave the Great Hall. Would the congregation please rise for the academic procession?